Welcome back to Since 3000. I'm Danielle Leslie, and this is the place to access our past, present, and future selves. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about a recent fascination of mine, which is Web3, NFTs, metaverse. To be honest, we ain't gonna talk that much about the metaverse, but we are gonna talk about how identity has really been my common thread across, I think, every area that I've been interested in, from my course business to now my NFT collection. So let's get into it. I'm so excited to bring you today's episode, but before we do, I need to make sure you've heard about Member Up. So community-driven products are the future, but Facebook groups are a thing of the past. And after 10 plus years in the online education space, I've taken all my learnings and I've built this incredible platform, Member Up. It's a customizable, easy to use, all-in-one platform where you can build a premium course, community, or membership site without the tech headache. Gone are the days of having to duct tape together your content, your community, your payments, all on different platforms. I want you to do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and head over right now to memberup.com/Danielle. And you can get started for free today. I promise you, I can't wait for you to see this platform. It's beautiful. Okay, the design is amazing. Your community is going to feel at home here, and you are going to take pride in your online business. It is the place to start. Head over to memberup.com/Danielle. Now let's get into the episode. So when I think about where we are now with Web3, the term that comes to mind is shapeshifting. So if you think about us as individuals, we have every day the ability to express ourselves through the items we purchase, the items we have in front of us, this goblet that matches my kimono, that says handle it on it, and then the candle that says my birth year, that Helen, shout out to Helen, my chief of staff, so thoughtfully placed in front of me because it's all part of the scheme. These all say something about who I am, what I believe in, what I stand for, what's important to me. And so when we think about Web3 NFTs, I don't want you to get caught up in the verbiage or it's techie or it's confusing. Just know that the reason it's such a quote unquote big deal and why it seems to be spreading like wildfire across your social media feeds, maybe in your group chats, in masterminds you may be attending, or maybe at the living room table, is because it's all linked to our self-expression. It's just our new way of expressing ourselves, what we believe in, what we're investing in, ATM, investing our attention, time, and money in, and therefore making it represent who we are. So what I want to share with you is how I got into Web3 NFTs and what it really means. So let's start first with the difference between Web 2, Web 3. Well, let's just start at Web 1. So Web 1.0, and y'all, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a technologist, I'm gonna break it down how I understand it. So Web 1 was email. It was the ability to open up a browser, access some information. I told y'all, we're not getting technical. If you think about Web 2, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have these platforms where there is a central owner, right? So Facebook, or Meta, as we know it today, owns Instagram and Facebook, and we as users are content contributors. So these platforms are powered by our content, user-generated content. We don't own the platform, we don't own the content we put up there. As soon as we upload it, it is owned by Meta. And that's Web 2. You know, Web 2 is where there's still a central owner and we are content contributors. It's a great platform for us to display ourselves and share messages. But at the end of the day, we don't receive the profits and the money from the content we share there. Then we move to Web 3. And Web 3 is about this decentralized ownership. So what it means is we can now share our content, our art, and there is a public record where we can go and see that I created this person bought it. So about a year ago, I found myself at this amazing house in Miami. There were people there who knew all about Web3 NFTs, and they were really kind, really nice, really open, talking to me about my course business. And because I was in this house, they assumed I was also in the Web3 NFT space. They assumed I was knowledgeable and that I knew everything there was to know about it and how it related to my course business. And in conversation with them, I found myself shutting down, feeling intimidated. I actually didn't know the first thing about NFTs or Web3. I didn't know how it related to my course business. And as they asked me more questions and made more efforts and attempts to connect with me, to vibe with me, to help show me how this could grow my empire, I just found myself shutting down more and more and more. I didn't get it. It wasn't clicking, and I didn't know why. So what I want to reassure you with is there is a common thread across all of this, and I want to explain how I was able to start understanding and to start resonating with Web3 and NFTs. I want to start with the reason I was able to finally wrap my head around this, and it was because I put myself in proximity with a trailblazer. I guess I call them into my life, I attract them, but these are futurists. These are people living 1,000 years ahead of us, 10 years ahead of us, and they're able to come back and share what they're seeing. So I found myself in proximity with these people, and I had a really good friend who was deep in the space, was sending me all these projects, sending me all these articles to get me up to speed, was oozing with passion about the space. And it took me like 8 months for it to click. When you get into the space, you'll see one of the biggest marketplaces is OpenSea. So OpenSea, let's just say it's like the MySpace if you're a throwback person like me. So on OpenSea, there was a NFT collection called Loot. And he sent me the Loot project. He had been sending me all these other projects, and I was like, okay. And and we'll get into all this a little bit later, but I had set up my wallet. I had loaded up my Coinbase account with ETH, had the ETH in my wallet so that on OpenSea I could buy collections. And he kept sending me collections and I would buy into them early. And so this one collection kind of put me over the edge where I was like, hold on. Like, I'm open to receiving all of this, but let me just say what's coming up for me right now. I'm like, it seems like you're letting the loot distract you from your legacy. What I was seeing from my friend was him like investing in all these different projects and spending hours a day researching, getting articles and And I was like, but what about your company that you have full ownership of? That's the legacy. This is just loot. This is just little money. Now, there was a lesson in that for me. I will say that one thing that is really powerful about my mindset and what's helped me up to this point is my really strong belief in ownership and in full ownership, right? I came from Silicon Valley. I came from working with an amazing team over a decade ago. We raised money from investors. We did an accelerator program. And what I saw there, though, is what happens when you dilute your ownership. Since then, I've been really bent on full ownership, 100% ownership in your company. So what I saw in front of me was this person who was investing in all these different companies where they own like this little piece of it. And I said, nah, don't let the loot distract you from your legacy. Now, what I realized about a month later was there's a thing around 100% ownership, and then there's fractional ownership. And the wealthy know this. They know that, yes, you can have 100% ownership. You can have companies that you have full ownership of. You're fully integrated. And there are other investments you can make that are fractional ownership. And it means you don't have to be involved in the day-to-day operations of these companies. You put your money in, and that's your contribution. Your time, which is super valuable, goes over here to the companies you have full ownership of. Shout out to my friend. I learned a very valuable lesson in fractional ownership and how this new Web3 NFT economy can help support that. So what happened is it took me about 8 months, and I finally, he sends me the World of Women project. World of Women is this was the first big project that was centering women. It was by a woman and her partner. It was the first project where he sent it to me and I was shopping. I felt like I was on Revolve's website, Akira, any of these like shopping sites where I'm looking for this. Like, I felt like that. Like, I was in a retail shopping experience. I was in the mall. I was like, oh my God, look at this one, look at this one. I was like, yo, there's something special about this. So that's when it really clicked for me, because it was art. And I found myself looking for a World of Women NFT that was representative of me. So someone who had hair like mine, skin like mine, jewelry like mine, wardrobe like mine, vibe like mine. And I realized the power of that space. And the power of it is just like, it's art. And when I bought my first World of Women, I realized, okay, this is a representation of who I am and who I want to be in the world. So I think what helped me start wrapping my head around the Web3 space was asking myself, what identity, what role do I want to play? And what I've seen myself do is now play 3 roles. So the first was as a collector, the second was as an investor, and the third was a creator. So I want to walk you through what my journey has looked like, and that way you can decide for yourself what role and identity do you want to create and embody. So I started as a collector. I collected my World of Women piece. I collected Women Tribe. I collected a few other things, and you can check out my collection if you go to my wallet. I started there because it's me essentially going to the art gallery and looking at what pieces of art inspire me, what resonates with me, and buying it. And now you can see it in my collection. That's how I got into the Web3 and NFT space. Now, the biggest collection piece was Bored Ape. If you haven't heard anything about Bored Apes, I would say their claim to fame is they have so many celebrities that have purchased them, but they are a 10,000 piece generative collection of apes. Essentially, they looked at what is the identity we want to create, and their identity was existential boredom. And they said, what represents that? Well, it's an ape because we came from apes, we evolved from them. So it's this collection of apes, and they have designed different robes and clothes and black t-shirts and all the things, hats, and created this 10,000 piece collection of Bored Apes. And you've had people like Justin Bieber collect them. In fact, I feel like he posted his the same day I posted mine, which was pretty dope. But he found one that resonated with him, that looked like him in one of his hit songs. Bored Apes have just raised a ton of money. They've got so many people who own them. I made the decision to purchase a Bored Ape because I knew I wanted to make an investment in crypto. So I had, and we being real, we friends, but I had like 400,000 that I wanted to invest in crypto, because when we think about the best use for our money, the best return we can get, I could go stock market, I could go real estate, I could reinvest in my business. There's so many things I could invest in. At the time, I wanted a passive vehicle, and I wanted something that was fairly aggressive because I'm not in retirement mode. So I want something that can 5x in a year. For me, I don't know a ton about real estate, and I'm not an active person in real estate. So the most I could probably get would maybe 10%, 20% return in a year, if that. If I reinvested in my business, that would be an active investment. I would need to, work at it to grow that. Stock market, if I put it in there without the research, again, I'd maybe get like a 20% return this year. More aggressive, but I'd have to learn, but probably maybe 10% return. So crypto was the vehicle where it was passive, and from what I knew, from being in proximity with people who are in the know, I could get a 5x return without doing anything. If I just invested in the top 5 to 20 coins.
If you are a creative entrepreneur and your business is unique, why are you working with a generic accountant? One of the best decisions I made was who I would partner with on my taxes and my accounting. So if you're a creative entrepreneur, you are growing your business, you're scaling your business, I want to introduce you to Revel. Revel is a firm that can help you whether you're looking to prepare your taxes or you're looking for that year-round support. They will tell you what's happening in your business and why. So if you're tired of being ignored, talked down to, or feeling like you are chasing around your accountant and needing to drive the relationship yourself, it's time for a change. Head over to revelcpa.com, revelcpa.com. Head on over, fill out their interest form, and make sure you look into working with them. Again, that is revelcpa.com, revelcpa.com. We all deserve the right firm to partner with.
It's been proven that procrastination can be one of our biggest enemies to success. Now, contrary to belief, procrastination is not based on a lack of time management or organizational skills. Procrastination is directly linked to our emotions. Now, the reason I know this is because of Patty Johnston.
Patty Johnston is incredible. She's a Course from Scratch member, but even more importantly, she's built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses once she learned how to overcome procrastination. So she's created a program where she shares her system on how to overcome procrastination, and it's based on emotional intelligence, neuroscience, and accountability. She's gonna show you step-by-step how to overcome negative feelings so you can start taking action and start seeing a difference from day one. So text this number right now to schedule an appointment with Patty and her team to see if this is right for you and what steps for you to take to overcome your procrastination. 813-789-1097. And again, the number to text right now is 813-789-1097. Let's all overcome procrastination together. Now let's get back to the episode.
I decided, all right, I'm gonna put 400K into crypto. It was another friend who was like, you could put it into crypto. You could put it into Ethereum, right? Ethereum is the second largest, fastest growing, right? We've got Bitcoin and then we have Ethereum. And Ethereum, I think in the previous year had like 4 to 5x or something. So he's like, you can put it all in ETH and it could 4x or 5x. And you could also consider putting it into a Bored Ape because it was right before Super Bowl and they were rumored to be performing. So like Snoop Dogg owned a Bored Ape and he was gonna like have his Bored Ape perform potentially. And there were other people who were gonna have their Bored Apes perform. So there's all this talk around it and the price of Bored Apes were going up. So I thought, okay, well, this could be a multiplier. If I know that if I put this money in Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, all the top 20, if I put it here, cool. It'll probably 3x to 4x this year. If I know that a Bored Ape, if I invest now and the Bored Ape is going to 4x by the end of the year and the Bored Ape is on Ethereum, then potentially that's a multiplier. The 4x return I could get with all the crypto investments plus the 4x return of my Bored Ape, that might mean multiple returns if I put a portion of the money I want to invest in the Bored Ape. So that's what I decided to do. So I took a portion of that. I bought my Bored Ape. It's cool because you can see, what the floor is. So if you log into like OpenSea and you search for Bored Apes, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and if you click floor price, you can see what they're valued at today. And then you can sort it by attributes and by features. So my most prominent feature on my Bored Ape is he has a pimp coat. He got a pink and orange pimp coat, and I have a real life coat to match it. So if you search by the pimp coat, like Snoop has one that has a pimp coat. If you search by pimp coat, you can see that if you have a Bored Ape with a pimp coat, it's a little more rare than some of the others. And so the floor price, the lowest price you can buy a Bored Ape, is just higher than the actual floor price of, let's say, an ape with a black crew neck or with a sailor hat. So knowing that, I can now see, okay, my pimp coat Bored Ape is valued at X today. And I know that Super Bowl is coming, so it's probably gonna go up a little bit more. And then by the end of the year, Bored Ape Yacht Club, they're releasing land. They're gonna have land in the metaverse, so that's gonna probably increase the price of it. They're gonna drop a coin, so they dropped an ape coin, which I'll get into in a second, the benefits of that, so it's probably gonna go up again. So now I have my investment that was just gonna be, across these 20 different crypto coins. Now I have them in an ape that is rising in value. Then there's the intangible benefits you get, which is social capital, right? So there's different type of capital. There's intellectual capital, there's the money capital, and there's social capital. And there's a lot of social capital that was around being a Bored Ape owner. It was like the new Lambo, and I frankly never wanted a Lambo. So this is like the Web3 Lambo. And when you have a Bored Ape, you are in the club with a Justin Bieber and a Snoop. And so that meant something to me because I knew at that time, if I get into a space, I'm not just going to be a spectator. I'm going to be a creator. I'm going to be an owner. So I knew that I was going to create a collection of my own. And I knew that it benefited me to be in rooms, maybe virtual and real life, with other Bored Ape owners who also had liquid cash, who had the foresight, who were futurists, maybe got into crypto early, who were creatives. I knew that this allowed me to be in the room with them, right? The virtual room is the Discord. So we have a Discord chat and all the Bored Ape owners are in the Discord chat. So you have the ability to message, see what other people are working with. Then we're in real life rooms. So I recently went to my first Bored Ape event in New York, and there were about almost 100 other Bored Ape owners that live in New York. And I got to talk to them about their projects and what they're working on. So you buy into this new tribe, this new group of futurists that I wouldn't have met otherwise. So that was the social capital where it's hard to put a dollar value on that. And I think we stop at, oh my God, this is a huge investment. This is a lot of money. And it's yeah, cool. There is a money cost. And then there's the other kind of capital, which is social capital that comes with it. So these are the people I can go to when I launch my collection, share with them about it, have them become collectors of my own collection. So let me talk about how, that one investment into the Bored Ape has now led to more things and has helped me grow my portfolio as an investor. So I became a collector of the Bored Ape NFT. Everyone who had a Bored Ape then was granted access to an ape coin. So what you'll see sometimes is people will launch a collection. In the case of the Bored Apes, we had 10,000 pieces in this collection and thousands of owners, because some people own multiple Bored Apes. They might have 5 to 20 in their portfolio or more. So they've got thousands of owners, and a lot of times the next step is to launch a coin. So it's like their own currency. Every collector Bored Ape got an ape coin, and they gave us, for me, I received 10,000 ape coins, which was equivalent to $100,000 when they launched it. So it's similar to stocks, right? So you have a strike price, then you have prices per share. So same thing with ape coin, because of the amount of shares I owned, 10,000 ape coins. At the time of launch, it was valued, that was equivalent to about $100,000. So if I was to sell my ape coin upon launch, when it was valued at, I guess that's $10 per coin, then I could have liquidated $100,000. So I'm opening up my ape coin today. So I have an app I use called Rainbow. With Rainbow, you can see how much you have in your coins and everything. So it looks like today it's $223,000. So ApeCoin has gone up over, 2x. So if I was to sell my ApeCoin today, I could have $223,000. So remember, that is on the back of me making my initial investment in the Bored Ape. Now, the final thing that happened here that's super dope, and I feel super blessed for this, and it was really because of the amazing people in my life who I have been in proximity to, who have been very generous and shared resources, shared opportunities with me. Because of that, I was invited to invest in Yuga Labs. And so Yuga Labs is the company that owns Bored Apes. They created it. They have the team, the products, the land that's coming. They own all of it. And so I got to be a part of one of the first rounds to invest in Yuga Labs. So not only do I own a Bored Ape as a collector, not only am I now an investor with ApeCoin, but now I'm also an investor in Yuga Labs, which is the overarching company that created all of it. It's wild because, again, it's like a 0.0001% of people that have the opportunity to have all those things. But really it started by me just calling those people into my life and being in proximity with other trailblazers, futurists, by me doing my thing, because by me doing my thing, they were attracted to what I was doing. They said, we speak the same language. That's dope. Let me bring you in. Let me bring you in. And then them having the patience to keep bringing me in, me realizing the difference between the fractional ownership and full 100% ownership, accepting that at this point I can make these passive investments, and then being ready to leap into these opportunities. So that's been my journey, going from collector to investor. And the final stage was becoming a creator myself. So I was inspired when I saw the World of Women collection, because again, that was the first collection I saw of its size that was centering women, and I saw women of color, and then one of the founders is a woman. Now, the thing I didn't get to see is a collection that was for and by Black women. I have yet to see a collection that is 3D avatars that really looks like us. I have yet to see a collection that bridges fashion from digital to physical, so phygital fashion, that takes the digital fashion piece and translates it into a physical fashion piece. And that's one of my interests, is how can I represent myself on the outside as I am on the inside, and that's what fueled my interest in fashion. With all of that, I decided I'm going to become a creator. I'm going to create my own collection. And so that's how Since 3000 was born. And we're creating the Since 3000 collection so that we have a 3,000 piece Genesis collection, and we're going to have a collection that represents the past, present, and future us. So 3,000 piece collections, and the artists, the 3D artists, are going to be women of color. The avatars, the subjects of the pieces are going to be us, because I mean, we are art, let's be real. But it's going to be us. So when you see it, you identify with it. And I finally see something where I see myself. In creating this collection, I have the ability to say who is written into the smart contract. So one of the benefits of Web3 is transparency, full transparency. So you can actually go onto Etherscan and you can see my smart contract for my collection. And you can see that there is a Since 3000 team wallet that gets paid out. You can see there's a Since 3000 artist wallet that pays out. And that means any of our artists that are creating our pieces get paid out for life. Someone bought a Bored Ape when it was like 1 ETH. So let's say it was like $1,000 back when ETH was 1,000 for 1 ETH, right? And then it got resold. If they put the artists into the wallet, the artist would be paid out on every resale. So most NFT collections, as far as I know, don't necessarily do that. We want to do that with Since 3000. We want to write the artists into the smart contract. So every time a piece is resold, as we grow our brand equity, as we, turn it into a Netflix scripted, fictitious series that is like the Since 3000 series, and it tells the stories of us from the past, present, and future. What does that look like? As that happens, and as the collection grows in value, the artists are going to get paid out for life. So you can see that in there. You can see the Since 3000 Foundation piece. So the nonprofits, the schools, the organizations that are promoting education, promoting the arts, that they're getting paid out. You can see all of that in the smart contract. And that's a big part of my purpose. Like, I love Web3 because it's holding me accountable. It's holding all of us accountable. But honestly and truly, like, it's getting to hold me accountable, like getting for me to say like, oh shit, I have to or I get to think through this from the beginning. Like, who do I want to benefit? Not only are the collectors going to benefit, because y'all are going to be a part of this amazing community. We're going to do in-person events for the Since 3000 Genesis collectors. I know that we're all like-minded. We might be new to crypto. We might be a little nervous, but I'm going to welcome you and I'm going to show you the value of this. And show you that when you invest, when you buy one of our NFT pieces, you are also supporting artists who are probably Black women, probably women of color, or Black men. So the first 3 pieces in the Since 3000 collection we released as a preview to our full collection were designed by Isaac Udogu, who is an amazing digital designer. I bought one of his pieces, so I became a collector of one of his NFTs, which is beautifully designed. And I was like, yo, Black man out here doing it. Like, this is so my vibe. And this is what I see for Since 3000. So I was able to bring him on to our first 3 pieces, which was a collaboration for an amazing campaign, the Gowns for Good campaign. And we were able to take Julianne Moore, who is a phenomenal actress. She's been in the industry, been one of the leading people in the industry for a long time. And we took her one-of-one haute couture gowns, and we took 3 of them that she had worn on the different red carpets, and we reimagined them for Since 3000. So I was able to partner with Isaac, and he created these amazing designs. So we had these first 3 pieces of the Since 3000 collection, and then we auctioned them off with Mogul. And Mogul is an NFT marketplace similar to OpenSea, but Mogul focuses on entertainment and celebrity type NFTs. So we auctioned it on Mogul. The minimum bid was $20,000 and we were able to sell all 3. One of our collectors is French Montana. Shout out to French Montana, which is like super dope. I was like, oh my God, how is this happening? So he owns now one of our NFTs, which is so dope because not only does it give visibility for Since 3000, our mission, but also for an artist, Isaac, super talented. So that's what we see for as Since 3000 being this platform, putting artists on stages, the largest stage possible that we can create for them, connecting them with people like you who are wondering, is there something out there for me to resonate with? NFTs are the new status symbol. How can I show what I believe in, what I connect with? The beautiful thing about Web3 is the transparency. I can look up your wallet. You can look up my wallet. You can have multiple wallets. So at some point I will probably put my valuable pieces in a different wallet that you can't see, just saying. But you can look up a wallet for now if people make it public on Twitter, but you can look up anyone's wallet and you can see what they're buying, what they're investing in, and truly see who they're supporting. And that speaks volumes to who that individual is. What are the charitable causes that they are supporting? If a charitable cause has created an NFT, has given you the opportunity to support them. As an example, Nicole Buffett is the granddaughter of Warren Buffett, and she is making waves as an NFT artist. And I'm a collector of her Metamorpha collection, right? There was a piece called Integrating. And my word for this year was integration, integrating the lessons of last year, this year, taking that time to integrate. And I saw a piece in her Metamorpha collection called Integrating. And I was like, yo, I gotta buy this. So now I am a collector of Nicole Buffett's pieces. If you go to my wallet, you can see something about me, my character, what I believe in by seeing I bought this piece. The fact that it's called Integrating, the fact that it's from, Nicole Buffett, Warren Buffett's, heir, right? Someone who's in he is in her ancestry. And she is the new face of what wealth looks like, because she's really into well-being and that overlapping intersection of well-being and wealth. She's really redefining what wealth looks like, which is amazing. So for me to be a collector and a supporter of her says a lot about who I am. So as a collector of Since 3000, someone will be able to see that as a Since 3000 Genesis holder, we know what you believe in, we know what you're down for, we know what you support. So another really cool thing is when you purchase a Bored Ape, and a lot of NFT collections have this as a part of it, but you are really not only a collector, but you become an owner. So I own the IP of my Bored Ape. So the intellectual property that is my Bored Ape, I can license that out to other people. So I've actually been able to do that. And again, because of the people I'm in proximity with, going to things like NFT NYC and these conferences, I was able to meet people who are in these spaces. They saw my Bored Ape. They had an existing relationship with a fashion brand. This fashion brand was bringing their brand online. So their online brand is IOC, and they wanted to sell digital fashion pieces for the metaverse. So Decentraland is one of the biggest players in the metaverse. It's where you can go and you can have digital avatars and you can buy digital clothing for them. So this brand has a line of clothing, IOC, that is sold for your use inside the metaverse, inside Decentraland. So you can actually see my Bored Ape on a garment that they have designed, and every sale of that garment, I get paid a royalty. My ape gets paid a royalty. And so that's another really dope thing about Web3. You really have full through and through ownership once you buy that piece of art. So we covered a lot in this episode. I hope that you were with me. If there's anything that was overwhelming, random, out of your current understanding, don't worry. That was me 4 months ago. It's a fast moving space. I want you to know that just like with everything in life, I don't want you to feel a sense of you're missing out. I don't want you to feel like you have to get involved in everything. What I hope is there was something in this episode that resonated with you, whether it was recognizing that identity runs across everything we do, and Web3 is just our new opportunity to express ourselves. Personally, I want to help us leverage Web3 as a way to help us come closer to ourselves. And that's why the Since 3000 collection is a representation of me, of my self-expression, of the values that we are all made of the same matter. I want to help us get back to our pure essence. I think with Web3, with IG, we were posturing, we were putting up perfect representations of ourselves, which may have taken us, a little further away from like who we truly are. And so I see this next evolution of even IG prioritizing more organic content that's like us just chilling. So that's bringing us back to our essence and how we show up without the polish, without the filters. And now Web3, if we use it correctly, we have the opportunity to. I am making it a priority for us to really use it as a way for us to remind ourselves we are all made of the same matter. Let's create a collection that really represents who we are as we are. And I hope that there was something in this episode that resonated with you and you see how you can get involved, potentially starting as a collector and then becoming an investor and then maybe becoming a creator of your own. And if you don't, at least you will be a collector and investor who empowers other creators. So thank you so much for joining me in this episode. I hope it alleviated a lot of the smoke and mirrors and everything around Web3 and NFTs. This space is for you, just like this space is for you, just like every room is for you. Web3 is really another opportunity for you to express yourself as you are, as a culture ad, as a cultural advantage, as you. And I hope you take the opportunity to share this with someone who has also had question marks around this space, and maybe you can have a fruitful discussion, and maybe I will see you as a part of the Since 3000 collectors. Listen, sometimes life be lifing, and we do not know what's coming down that road next. Well, that's what happened to me in 2016 when I was unexpectedly laid off from my job. And I was 6 figures in student loan debt. I had no savings and I didn't know what was gonna happen next. Now, luckily, I had this little voice inside of me at that time that I couldn't ignore. And it was telling me to take the leap. It was saying, use this as your opportunity to build your business. Use this as your opportunity to create your dream life. And so I believe that life happens for us, not to us. And that nudge in my spirit, I should listen to it. Luckily, I did. Fast forward to today, I have a business that's made over $20 million, and I've helped over 10,000 people create their online businesses and their dream lives. So do you want to learn how to turn your story into an online product and launch in 30 days? Head on over to coursefromscratch.com/since3000. I want you to join us on this journey so you can listen to that little voice inside of you too. So go now, do yourself a favor, coursefromscratch.com/since3000.